Throughout a person's life, accidents happen in all shapes and forms. Some people will suffer the misfortune of being seriously injured in an accident just because of plain bad luck. However, when someone else's negligence is the cause of their serious injury, it is no longer bad luck. It now becomes the responsibility of the negligent person to own up to the problem and make things right. This is what we face in this case. My name is Steve Cuccio, and I represent Gina Montroni. Let me tell you a little bit about Miss Montroni. She's a beautiful, smart, young girl who has lived in Westfield, New Jersey since she was 8 years old. She has walked through the downtown section of Westfield countless times in her life, strolling in and out of many stores down there. It's like Westfield is part of her existence. Westfield is a fairly affluent community, but Gina comes from a modest family who generally cannot afford most of the luxuries that other people have in the community. Gina is also an extremely hard worker and a very responsible person. She has excellent academic records as being an honor student, and up until the time of the accident, Gina was a very, very gifted athlete. At that time, she was 17 years old at Westfield High School. She was a soccer star, the best on her team, and in fact, one of the best in the state. She earned a scholarship to the University of Virginia to play soccer, one of the top women's collegiate soccer programs, and to attend its business school, also one of the very best business schools in the country. It is an opportunity she would not have otherwise if she did not put hard work in both on the field and in the classroom. Everything that she has worked hard for so far, studying so hard in class to get A's, and working so hard on the soccer field to become such a great player, then in a single instant it was all taken from her. It was all taken from her because of the defendant, Bon Jovi, who was negligently driving his vehicle and ran over Miss Montroni. She suffered injuries so severe that her soccer career is over, and she lost her scholarship to the University of Virginia. She has been completely devastated by Mr. Bon Jovi's negligence. The evidence will clearly tell the story, so I ask you to consider what the evidence will show. The evidence will show that Gina was walking through the downtown area of Westfield, the part of town with all the stores. It's essentially like a mall with the amount of foot traffic on the sidewalks and crosswalks. On this particular day, the town had lowered the speed limit to 20 miles an hour due to the increased pedestrian traffic. Gina was walking from the Cold Stone Creamery to the Rialto movie theater to meet up with some friends. It's a walk she has made countless times. She crossed the street at the crosswalk at the end of the road by the Gap store across from the theater. Then her life was changed forever. She was struck by Mr. Bon Jovi's car as he was driving it. She suffered a fractured pelvis, effectively ending her soccer career. She lost a scholarship. She still suffers constant nightmares about being run over. The police report indicates that Mr. Bon Jovi was driving his BMW X5 sport utility truck at 23 miles per hour at the time of the incident. That was 3 miles per hour over the speed limit on that day in the part of town that had high pedestrian traffic. Mr. Bon Jovi is an attorney at a very, very large New York law firm. He knows what negligence is. He was taught it in law school. He knows his obligations as a driver to be cautious, especially when there are so many pedestrians around. You will hear the testimony on how Gina was walking across the street looking down at her cell phone. While this may be true, the fact does not excuse Mr. Bon Jovi from his negligence. Mr. Bon Jovi's own words in his witness statement explains why. The evidence, as shown in his own witness statement, will show that he noticed Gina walking towards him before the incident and that she was looking at her phone. He also stated that he checked out the scenery. Apparently, Mr. Bon Jovi, a single, young, wealthy, and successful attorney, believes downtown Westfield is a good place to meet attractive women. Then he stated that he approached the intersection, he did not see Gina anymore, and ran her over. So he's admitted to the following in his statement about the incident. 1, he saw Gina walking on her phone. 2, he was distracted from the driving because he was checking out the scenery. And 3, he didn't even realize that he ran her over until the incident happened. In addition, he's approaching the intersection and traveling at 23 miles per hour, 3 miles over the speed limit. This is the only conclusion that can be drawn from this evidence is that the reason he was driving his BMW over the speed limit at the time he struck Gina is because he's not paying attention as he should have. That's negligence under the law, and that's the reason Gina suffered terrible injuries and still suffers today. The only reason she lost everything she worked so hard for is because of Mr. Bon Jovi's negligence. There's no amount of money that can fulfill and restore Gina to where she wanted to be. Life will never be the same as it would have been prior to the incident. The only thing that we can do is hold Mr. Bon Jovi accountable for his negligence. Gina has $100,000 in unpaid medical bills as a result of her injuries. Mr. Bon Jovi needs to pay for what we ask, and more importantly, Mr. Bon Jovi deserves to be punished for his negligence. We ask of the court to include the judgment for the pain and suffering Gina, and in the amount of $3 million to cover her suffering and her medical bill. Thank you very much for your time.